Welcome back to the Kyle Petty Show. I am your pal, Kyle Petty, and this time I am joined by Long Island director extraordinaire, Patrick Campbell, who is directing the Long Island premiere of Jagged Little Pill at Smithtown Performing Arts Center, opening on March 21st and running until April 19th. So, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course, I'm excited too. We have talked about this ever since you were in Rent,
Yeah.
and it just never came to be. So thanks for making the time, especially in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So introduce yourself to the people who may not be familiar with Mr. Campbell.
Sure. My name is Patrick. Born and raised on Long Island. I was kind of a late bloomer to theater. I didn't start until high school. I wasn't one of these Long Island theater kids. I didn't really have any interactions with theater besides seeing some shows. And then in high school, I auditioned for a show on a dare to audition for. Actually, brace yourself. The Wiz was the first ever show I was in at a high school. Oh, love The Wiz. I should not have been in it.
That's like how wonderfully appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just was bit by the bug, and I just hadn't stopped since.
I love that.
Yeah.
And actually, it was really funny about that. I think our first experience together was The Wizard of Oz at CM.
It was.
In my dreadful appearance as, I don't know, Professor Marvel et al.
It was perfect. It was amazing.
It sure wasn't. I know when I missed that entrance. I'll never forget that.
Oh, we did skip a whole scene.
An entire scene. And you know why that happened, right? Like that there was a valid reason why that flub happened. You know, because in order to get up to that little hole, like where I was supposed to make my entrance as the guard, you had to bring the ladder over because obviously it was too high. But that set piece that we moved, like it didn't have sides. So we were rolling out and I'm like, uh-oh. There's the ladder, like leaning against the wall. And I was like, what do you do? Because you're hiding behind this thing as you're moving it. So there's no way, you can't move the whole thing back, to go get the ladder. And I said, oh my gosh, what do I do? And I think it was you that had said, oh, well, you know, I was talking to the guard before and you know what he said was...
Total improv.
Yeah.
Dorothy,
I was like, I'm so embarrassed. I was like, I've absolutely screwed these people over. I don't even know them.
In the moment, it was horrifying, but afterwards, incredible.
So embarrassing.
That's a very valid reason, though. Very valid reason.
Listen, I honestly did the best I could. I had no real rehearsal. You know, I tried. I tried.
That's right.
But I've got some very important questions for you. I need to know about your peanut butter selections. Crunchy or smooth?
Okay. I'm not one that hates either. But lately, I've been a crunchy peanut butter person.
Yes. Okay. and what kind of peanut butter?
Gosh, I'm like, what do I have right now? Well, in my attempts to be slightly healthier, I have the natural one that has all that oil on top.
Oh, well, but is it Skippy?
I want to say Smuckers. Is that?
I don't know. The Smuckers, do they do peanut butter?
Maybe not. I could be lying to you.
Wow, you're not exactly a peanut butter connoisseur.
That's not a peanut butter connoisseur like it should be.
As long as it's not Peter Pan. That's
it's not Peter Pan.
Because Peter Pan peanut butter is like that's not even good enough for like a mousetrap. It's like really bad. Now, train or airplane? How do you like to travel?
Train.
Oh, me too. Train. Yeah, very relaxing. I love the chugga. Yes. Now, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Me too. And hot or iced?
Iced always.
So I think for me it depends on the time of day. I do like in the evening, like 8:30 p.m. A nice hot cup of tea is really cozy. But yeah, I feel it. Reality shows or documentaries?
Reality shows every day of my life.
Excellent. What's your favorite?
Survivor.
Oh, are you watching 50?
I am.
See, I was really turned off by the 3-hour premiere, and I'm having a hard time getting it. That's too long.
Okay. It is. It was very long.
Yeah.
But I will say, I was disappointed in like the past I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons, I suppose. So to have all returner players is so
It's
refreshing
fun. It's fun.
that I was like so sat for it.
Okay.
I have not watched the last episode though, so if you've seen
Oh,
it,
no, I haven't gotten through the 3 hour one. So
okay.
I'm setting aside time this weekend, like to get through it. Um,
Absolutely.
but okay. Now, pizza or Chinese?
Chinese.
Okay, okay. Not your normal Long Island answer, even though like I do like a good Chinese dish. Um, and this is very important for all the New Yorkers in the house. Like, what is your go-to bagel order?
It's pretty simple. It's an egg everything lightly toasted with cream cheese.
Yes, yes. And I
Nice and
like to
simple.
lightly toast it. But see, now when you go out though, the problem with this is sometimes the bagel is too hot and the cream cheese gets a little too melty and it just slip slidey. Like I don't enjoy that.
It's true. It's important to sometimes light cream cheese because sometimes they're putting on the entire block.
They are.
It's
They
too
are.
much. It's too much for me.
I agree. I would rather though too much so that I can take some of it off rather
Mhm.
than like get to the car and realize that you were really cheap. You know, so like then they're like, well, how do we? You can't recover from this, right?
No,
I can fix too much, but
that's true. That is true.
yeah. All right, excellent. So tell us some things about Jagged Little Pill. I was kind of telling you in the pre-chat. The only thing I know about this is Alanis Morissette. I
Yeah.
don't even know why it's called Jagged Little Pill. So yeah,
Mm.
tell us some things.
Sure. So in its core, it's about an American family
Hmm.
going through a crisis, and it's the implications of the inner machinations of this family onto the community around them, and vice versa. Situations that are happening in the community of impacting this family unit. It's interesting. It's comparative to a next to normal in the sense that
Mm,
we see all of the dynamics and all the struggles of all the members of the family. But this one is different because you do see the trickle into the community of people around them, which is really why I love it. It's a family, it's a white conservative family in Connecticut. And it focuses on MJ, the mother of the family. She is struggling with an opiate addiction, hence Jagged Little Pill.
mm,
And Frankie, the younger daughter, who is black, she is adopted, and their dynamics within the family, as well as topics of gender, queerness, sexual assault, Me Too movement. It really covers a lot of bases, and features all of the iconic songs from Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill album.
mm. Oh, that was an album.
It was an album, yeah. It
That's
was.
how
It
much I
was.
don't know. All I know is you ought to know,
Yeah.
and I guess, and I
That
guess I
is that
should.
is that is really the one that people think of most.
Right.
But that is from Jagged Little Pill,
Oh,
the album, which is
okay.
like her most decorated
Mm,
album.
the more
Yeah,
you know.
the more you know.
Okay, the more you know. So, what made you directed and what you directed? What made you interested in directing this show?
Hmm. I really am drawn to shows that I don't want to say are darker. I love to see and watch frilly, golden age bubblegum shows. I love watching them.
Hmm.
But I feel really, really connected to pieces that I can sit into the emotions of them and work with people on how are we as a collective embracing these emotions while also inviting the audience into those emotions as
Hmm.
well. I'm here for a musical that makes me cry, I have to say. Those really are just my favorites. And this musical is different in the fact that the ensemble is not just there to help the plot along and make all the numbers look really big and impressive and pretty. The ensemble really mirrors the emotions and the struggles of the main characters.
Hmm.
There's even some ensemble members that are avatars of the characters. So when the mom is singing a big solo and it becomes too much for her to perhaps show us her journey, an ensemble member will dance out her story throughout the rest of that number.
Mm.
So it's a really, really interesting contemporary movement based ensemble that I'm really obsessed with. The album was really a big part of my life growing up. It's a favorite for my mom.
Okay.
When this album was released, I was going through my very first breakup in college. And I just remember sitting in my car and sobbing to the music.
Mm.
And since that moment, I was like, hey, I need to be a part of this one day.
Yeah.
And here I
So you've
am.
got a personal attachment to it. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, totally.
So it sounds like dance and movement is also an important part of this production. Who
Yeah.
choreographed it?
Vinny Donadio is our choreographer.
Oh, okay. Familiar,
Yeah.
familiar. We did Sister Act together
Oh,
fourscore
great.
and 7 years ago. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's a nice layer to that. All right. Now, do you have a favorite moment in this show?
I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say there's a
Mm,
sequence in Act One where our main character, MJ, we see her struggling with her drug abuse, and she takes a drug, and we move through her day backwards. And
hmm,
it's a really, really interesting tool of showing just drug abuse and how it looks. And I think usually, when we see addiction in musicals, it's usually like a slurred speech. It's a I can't carry myself and I'm falling all over myself, and it's a bit much. This is very simple in its nature, but it's not at all, because we're moving through her day completely in reverse, and everyone,
mm.
including the ensemble, is moving completely backwards through her day.
That's interesting. So you
Yeah.
get to actually see like the negative portion of it, but then you're gonna get to walk through it and find out how we got to that moment, instead
100%.
of maybe just seeing the day or maybe even just seeing the crash out. We
Mhm.
don't talk about necessarily why people are addicted to their drugs, like and what motivated that action. How do we get here?
Yeah.
So going backwards, that's fun. I like, well,
Fun.
not fun, but
I
but
agree, I agree.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. I'm looking forward to that. Um, Now, directing this one, what would you say has been your biggest challenge during this rehearsal process?
Biggest challenge during the rehearsal process? I think it's a couple things. I think it's my first time working at Smithtown Performing Arts Center,
Mhm.
which has been a joy. It's been so lovely, but
Good.
I'm acclimating to the new space. It's a brand new theater, so just kind of figuring out how to make the show feel balanced and full and intimate in this space. It's tricky. Musicals are tricky because you want to fill the space, but you also need moments to feel very intimate. And
Mhm.
on a big stage, it's tricky. And Smithtown has a larger house. There's a balcony seating,
Yeah.
so it's finding ways to make this space feel good for this show. I also think it's a massive show. There's a lot of music, a lot of music that people are very familiar with. So you really want to do it justice. The musical on Broadway had like a cult like following for a bit. So
Mm.
it's really the perhaps the pressure of, can we do it justice? How do we make this our own story, but also give the fans what they want and what they expect with it? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think between that and figuring out all the space adjustments has been tricky, but
Mhm.
rewarding.
Yeah.
Rewarding.
Now, do you have a live pit for this one, or is it tracked?
It's tracked, but via a live pit. So because the show is so new, there are no tracks available for it.
Mhm.
So our music director, Samantha Free, she actually the other night invited a pit to come, and they played through the show, and we recorded our own tracks via the live pit.
Huh.
Yeah,
I think that's the most brilliant way of blending those two. I know,
totally. Of
look, I love the fullness of a live pit, obviously, but there
course.
is something about a track that, like, well, unless you get off on it, right? But otherwise, there's something comforting about knowing that it's going to be the same each and every time. You know exactly what little sounds to expect. It's not
Totally.
like, oh, I'm waiting for this chime to cue me into this, and in that person's absence, there is no chime tonight.
Yeah,
Like, so,
totally.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's the best blend of that. That's excellent. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool. That's really cool. Um, Now you're not new to directing, right? You most recently directed Beautiful over at CM Performing Arts
yeah.
Center. Do you have a favorite production that you've directed?
Hmm. It's tricky because you get something so different from all of the shows that you work on.
Yeah.
I have such a different, a different feeling or sentiment that I've taken from each one. I think the one that I felt the most confident in what I brought to it in terms of I felt like my vision was the most fulfilled across all aspects, cast, crew, production, was Jekyll and Hyde.
Mm,
I really and that was the first time that I had directed something that I was not familiar with beforehand.
okay.
I really was not familiar with Jekyll and Hyde at all, besides knowing the story in the book. I was not a big fan of the musical like I am most of the time when I direct a show. So that was the first time I really had like a fresh perspective on it,
Hmm.
and it felt like it really came to fruition on all ends. So Jekyll and Hyde is really one that I look back on and I'm like, that was, that was lightning in a bottle, that one.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, my mother
Yeah.
loved that one. I brought her to that.
Um,
And yeah, she was head over heels over that for that one. So oh cool. That's awesome.
Good to
Nice, nice.
hear.
Yeah. Now you've also spent a lot of time on stage, right? Because
Mhm.
you're certainly known around here as being a performer too. What's been some of your favorite shows and roles that you've performed?
Recently, definitely Mark in Rent. That was a joy,
That was
something I've
awesome.
always wanted to do. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. It was an amazing cast of people. It was like a pinch me moment. And also,
Mhm.
Kyle, not to bring it back, but the Tin Man was really one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, nice. I'm sorry I messed up that one show, but oh, The Wizard of Oz is really great, except for that Wednesday at 2 o'clock. No, that's awesome. I would love to do The Wizard of Oz again. Not in that
Mm,
capacity though. I played the
no.
lion once, and that was really
Mm,
I had a lot of fun with that. And a lot more than I thought I would because I don't really care about the movie.
really?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of The Wizard of Oz, like as a story. Being
Sure.
in it is very different. It's fun to be in it, but to watch it, it's a bit of a drudgery in my like.
It's the
But
nostalgia feeling for me.
it
So
is,
I could
yeah,
see,
yeah.
having a different feeling if it wasn't very nostalgic.
Hmm, hmm,
Yeah.
yeah, and not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that you spent so much time like on and off the stage, right? Do you
Mm.
have a preference over like directing or performing?
I prefer directing.
Mm,
I love to perform. You get a different feeling from both of them.
sure,
I
sure.
think performing is where I started, and whenever I do get to perform, it's the biggest blessing and joy, and
Yeah.
I have the best time doing it. I think you get a different satisfaction out of directing. I really love thinking creatively outside of just what can I bring to this character, and how can I make this performance read for an audience. I love being able to work with and talk to every single person in the cast. I love being able to talk to everybody who's involved in all the tech departments. So there's something just a little bit more fulfilling about the experience as a director for me personally
Hmm,
than as a performer at this point.
nice.
Yeah.
Which kind of like makes a lot of sense because you just launched a brand new gorgeous website, right?
Thank you very
Patrick
much.
Campbell director.com, right? Highlighting a lot of the different things you did. Your entire resume is up there and like
Yeah.
each page, like it's such a joy like to look at. Like like it
Thank
really
you
is.
so much.
No, really, it's so pretty. I actually went through each tab. I was like, I'm just want to just scroll up and down. I just want to look around. It's just very well done.
Thank you.
But what is your intention behind that? Are you starting to look at pursuing opportunities outside of Long Island?
Yeah, I think it's tricky because what I do outside of here is a freelance director, basically meaning that I am working as much as possible creatively.
Hmm.
And to put yourself out there, it's hard. It's a lot of who do you know, and getting into these spaces for people to trust you with a show. It's hard. So I really wanted all of my material in one place so that I could send that to others to say, here is my body of work from a visual standpoint. Because directing is hard. You look at a performance resume and you're familiar with roles, but if you look at a directing resume, you don't know the production value of those shows. You
Right.
don't
Yep.
know at what scale those shows were being put up at. So it was really important to me to have it all visually in one place.
Hmm.
I have to give a shout out to Caitlin Harold. She is the one that really, really helped me in crafting the website. So I just had to plug my
Wow.
friend Caitlin Harold for a moment. But yeah, it was really about finding a way to present my material to new places and people so I could send it out, so that as a freelance director, I'm able to kind of find new avenues and new places to bring my work, my ideas, and
Hmm.
work with as many new people as I possibly can wherever I can.
Yeah. So, what would you want like a prospective theater or even a performer to know about you as a director and like your creative process? Like, what is it like to work with you? Yeah, what would you want them to know ahead of time?
I think usually there's directors when you work with them that feel very one way or the other, whether they're process oriented or product oriented. So you might work with a director who's really only focused on that final show looking good, or the opposite. You'll work with a director who's really focused on having a really fun and exciting process. And the show looking great is a plus side of it, but maybe not the initial focus. And I like to think that I'm a really, really good mixture of both. I put a lot of stock into the process and making sure that everybody feels good with what they're doing. I'm very collaborative with it. I don't want to just say, you're going to do my direction because that's
Mm,
what I told you to do and that's my
right.
vision. I want to make sure that what they're able to bring to the character is heard through my vision of it. So in terms of process, I'm really, really focused on making sure that I'm checking in with everybody to make sure that I'm not the only loud voice in the room and that they're
Mm,
all, they're a part of building the overall scope of the product. But also at the end of the day, I'm a big stickler on making sure that the show is presentable for an audience, is understandable, is clean, is smooth. Are our transitions working? Is it easy for the audience to watch?
mhm.
Um, is it digestible for them? So I really like to make sure that I'm balancing both the process and the product through the whole thing, and also just leading with empathy. I think I worked with some directors that don't connect and don't spend time connecting with the people that they're working with. And a lot of times, at least on Long Island theater, a lot of these performers are volunteer,
Mhm.
sometimes getting paid for their performances, not necessarily rehearsals. So taking the time to connect with them and make sure that they know that I see them, I hear them, and that I'm just leading with empathy as much as
Right.
possible because it's hard. Sometimes you get very set in what it looks like from the outside that you're not realizing, "Ooh, that feels weird for them,"
Mhm.
or "What does that feel like to do that as a performer?" So, just kind of keeping tabs on all parts at all times.
No, and I think that's excellent too, because as a performer myself, like I know that that collaborative approach allows you to own the role a little bit more,
Totally.
and you feel a little bit more connected to it, and you start to care more too. If it's just you're being told this, whether it feels good for you or not, whether that's a choice that you think the character would make or not, if it's an unnatural move and it doesn't feel good to the person,
Yeah.
then it's going to read unnatural to anybody else watching it. So that's awesome.
100%.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So you've had a lot of experiences in theater. Tell us one of your funniest ones or one of your favorite on stage moments.
I'll go the funny route and not
Okay.
necessarily my favorite. Recently, I was in a children's theater production of James and the Giant Peach
Oh my
over
god,
at
I
Theater
love that
3.
show. I was
Yeah.
so upset
Oh.
to miss that because the music, not to cut you off, I'm so sorry,
No,
but I
no,
am
no, no,
so
no, no.
passionate about James and the Giant Peach. The music in this show
Amazing.
is it's very hard. It's very challenging, especially for what's supposed to be children's theater.
Yeah.
But my god, is it so good. It's so good.
It is
Yeah.
brilliant. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel when you're doing it, it does not feel like this is a children's
No.
theater level show.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
It deserves like the main stage treatment, like
it
for
sure
sure.
does.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, so go ahead. So James and
So
the Giant Peach.
so I was playing Ladalord,
Hmm.
the narrator of the show, and the very first opening moment of the show, I was to come on stage in a blackout, and I was to, I had an umbrella in my hands, and lights would come up, and I'd be spinning the umbrella. And there was a show where I went and the blackout happened, and I came on up those steps, and I hit the top step, and I face planted
Oh my god.
in the blackout. However, theater 3 is the audience is real close to the performers,
They are.
especially in
Yep.
those first couple rows. So I hit the deck with the umbrella, smashed in part
Hmm.
of in my face, and
Oh god.
people audibly in the first couple rows went, "Oh, oh
Right.
no.
I'm sure they did.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah."
sure they did.
And
Yeah.
I only had 2 counts of 8 to get to my spot, so I
Oh god.
immediately had to stand up and go as if nothing just happened, and that is how the show's that is the very first thing audience members saw.
Oh, this is the beginning of the
The
show.
very first thing that happened.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
really just sets the tone for the,
Oh,
for the whole rest of the thing. Like,
the whole rest of the time I was like, this poor audience is going to think that I
mhm.
am just a bumbling.
No. Oh my
Yeah,
God, yeah, that's terrible. That is one of my biggest fears, because I'm a big boy. If I go down, like I'm not just getting back up, right? I'm going like I'm gonna need assistance. I've always said you have to close the curtain. You're gonna have to bring a chair out that I can lean on so I can get back up. Like
hold the
I'm
show.
done. Exactly. The show is canceled. Just refunds at the door. Like so bad.
But I felt that way
Um,
emotionally. I
yeah,
felt
I'm
that way
sure you
emotionally.
did. I'm sure you did. The one little bit of solace I think we can get from a moment like that is like it can't get worse,
Nope.
right? So whatever happens, c'est la vie.
That's right.
Like it is what it is. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh God. Yeah, not the kind of funny I expected.
Funny in retrospect, in the
Right.
moment,
In the moment,
wow,
no, no.
awful.
And at least you were okay because you said what the umbrella also hit you in the face too. I
Oh
mean, you
yeah,
could have like
all
had a
of it.
nosebleed or something like
I
that.
thank God. Yeah, thank God. When the lights came up, I was like, what if I'm
Am
bleeding
I
out?
good?
No,
Like looking
yeah.
around, right?
Let me check really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Thank God I was okay, but emotionally stunted
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And you're gonna be living with that for some time.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you look at those theater three steps, I'm sure all during Winnie the Pooh, you're like side eyeing the steps. You're not my friend.
Absolutely.
You're not my
Anytime I
friend.
go near them, I'm like, hang on, I just have to look down for one moment.
Yes, I gotta look around. I need to know exactly gotta
That's
get my bearings here. Yeah.
exactly.
So I know we're still like a couple of weeks out from Jagged Little Pill opening, but
Yeah.
do you have any plans for after that? What do you have your eyes on?
Gosh, I have my eyes on a couple of things. I don't think I can say any of it just yet.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. All right.
unfortunately, I wish I was able to.
No, it's all right.
Um, so right now, TBD for others, but I do have plans. There's
Okay.
something that's coming down the line that has been a dream show of mine to direct.
Okay.
Can I give hints? I don't know. Um, it's just not official yet, so I don't want to
Yeah,
get it.
don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself in
I don't
trouble.
want to get in trouble. I
Um,
don't want to get in trouble.
but is it at least on Long Island? Like you're not like leaving too soon,
It's
right?
on Long Island. It's on
Okay.
Long
All
Island.
right. We'll
Yeah,
take that. All right, good, good.
yeah.
So where can people follow you on social media when they want to keep up with what you got going on next?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
Instagram is at Patrick Robert C. You could find me on Instagram. My website, Kyle, you put my link there. You could also contact me through my website. And I think on Facebook I'm just Patrick Campbell, nothing fancy there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for doing this. This conversation was an absolute delight. And you are just so precious. So thank you. Thank you
Oh,
for
I
this
adore
time.
you.
Yeah.
I adore you.
You.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Anytime. Anytime.
Yes, please. Let's just do it. Let's just keep doing it.
Let's just do it like over and over and over again.